Well, I've only had like 3 hours of sleep, so this is
Oh,
gonna be a fun day.
all right, all right. Well, I hope this won't be painless.
No,
We'll,
you're good, man. Take all the time you want
we'll
from me.
make this part easy. All right. So, first, before we start, thank you very, very much for giving us an hour of your time.
Yeah,
And I would like to record this just for internal use so that I can focus on you instead of trying to take notes while we chat. Is that okay?
that is fine by me.
All right, let me do that.
And you can use it for external use. I just got a haircut,
Ah,
so we're
you're
good.
perfect. You're good to go. Nice. All right. So the goal of today is to get to know you a little better and to see if there's anything we can do to serve you better as a company. I have some questions prepared, but we don't have to follow them too strictly. And
Okay.
then I want to make sure that there's some time where I can answer your questions too. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So let's get started. Tell me a little bit about yourself.
Oh, geez. So I'm an entrepreneur, serial entrepreneur.
Okay.
Started several different businesses, all within the financial services industry. The one that I just put through an accelerator is a agnostic solution. So it's an enterprise SaaS product for any industry. Deals with requests for proposals.
Okay.
So basically, pipelining and streamlining in that entire process while removing every bottleneck. It's developed utilizing blockchain and machine learning as well. So we're giving you a little bit of safety from a security standpoint, which was based on my military background. I was exposed to a lot, working alongside NASA, Lockheed Martin, obviously the U.S. Air Force. So encryption is a big deal to me, which is one of the key reasons why we did everything in blockchain.
So the
Uh,
proposals, what are the proposals for? Anything?
Anything, anything. Yeah. So it could be used to discuss a new satellite launch, all the way down to finding a new financial advisor on a retirement plan. And
Okay.
so for us right now, we're strategically pinpointing financial services as an industry because we already have, we've removed every barrier to entry through my parent company that I used to work for. So we have access to all their clientele. So I actually, we just launched beta June 10th. June 12th, we secured our first paying beta subscriber, and we have 7 Fortune 500 companies signed on beta testing.
Fantastic. Wow.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
thank you.
Awesome. Awesome. Okay. So you're the CEO of this
Of the new
startup?
venture, I am.
Okay.
Yes, correct.
Excellent. Excellent. And who else is with you right now?
So I have David, who's my business partner. He's also co-founder and COO. I worked with him on FRA Plan Tools. So for your recording, this is FRA Plan Tools. This is actually what I use Balsamic for the most.
Okay.
So I'm a project manager and CTO for that company. So he came alongside with me, and then Kyle, who's our full stack developer.
Okay. Awesome. Awesome.
So
Cool.
pretty lean.
Yeah, that's great. Congratulations. That's fantastic.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. So let's see. I would like to hear a little bit about your process from idea to shipping
Okay.
and where wireframing fits in that process. What problems does it solve for you?
Yeah, so many problems. So me, I'm probably a little unorthodox compared to a lot of people. My ideas, I can picture things in my head. I suck terribly at laying them out on paper. So
Okay.
actually, the first thing I always do is I always go straight to either Balsamic or I take a screenshot of something and I'll go into Pixelmator or Photoshop and make modifications.
Okay.
So when I laid out Catapult, my newest venture, I actually did everything in Balsamic mockups, and I actually used your cloud version that you gave me beta access to.
Awesome.
Uh,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
so that literally did the whole thing. From that point to shipping, or I guess deploying and development, I put notes on every page. So the developer that I brought on is local to me, but he is so immersed into the company he currently works for. He was moonlighting for me
Mm,
that I didn't get a lot of his face-to-face time for
got it.
talking. So I literally stacked every page with notes.
Okay.
Certain things were, hey, this is the type of font type we're going to use. This is the interaction you should have. This is the logic that should occur. When you should see a pop-up or a validation message. So I was able to apply all that into the mock-ups. I think we had maybe 4 hours of conversation, and he's got over 300 hours in code.
Right.
And
Nice.
when the delivery came, I had maybe two modifications to the whole thing.
Fantastic. And listen,
So
so how many screens are in this project?
let me pull this up really quick, and I'll tell you. Just loading in right now. So I have 3 different ones, 3 different versions, or 3 different projects.
Okay.
And total screens, I would assume 55.
Okay. And are they linked together in a working prototype or not?
The wireframes themselves are linked together. Project to project, they're not.
Right, of course, because that's not possible.
Right.
But inside the a project, you try to link every single thing as much as
Yes,
possible,
as much as possible.
and you know that the developer appreciates that.
Yes,
Okay.
immensely.
They run through it, and they that way they can see how to go from one to the other.
Right. So actually, the first time he and I met face to face to discuss this project, we actually sat in a Starbucks side by side. I opened it up in Balsamic, and he literally clicked through everything.
Okay.
And he was just like, "All right." He's like, "So if I click on this," and he literally, that was it. It was like, "If I click on this, I should see X."
Okay.
And he went through every wireframe, and then we kind of did this in a waterfall approach. It was like 3 weeks later, he gave me a product, and he's like, "Here's everything you wanted
Nice.
built out. Is that right?"
So you went full screen and you clicked around.
Yes.
Okay, cool. All right, so it's a very lean project because there's really only 2 of you. You are doing product management, business, executive, approval, design, right?
Wearing the cool T-shirts.
Yeah, you're doing it all. So that it's a very tight feedback loop with yourself.
It is.
Do you ever iterate? Did you show it to someone and get critique? Maybe your COO?
I did with my COO, I did with a legal team, and I did with a consultancy firm that does about 1,000 RFPs a year. So I ran it through a few people just to get feedback. So I shared, a lot of that was verbal. The mock-ups and wireframes were face-to-face with the consultancy firm. With the COO, they were with the mock-ups full screen, and with the legal team, it was verbal.
Okay, I see. Cool. And so that informed your thoughts, and you iterated, you included their feedback. Okay. So you go wireframes, link them together, and then code.
That's right.
That's what we suggest people do.
And it's what they should do. I mean, we do a little bit with Confluence, which we love your integration there, but that's more for future releases. Right. So as like this beta was built out, I was like, oh, I thought of this idea. Let's add that in Confluence just to touch on that later on once we obviously raise.
Okay. And what about the visual look and feel?
I should probably send you a link to the beta. Like the look and feel of Balsamic or the look and feel of the application?
Of your app. You know, once you have the wireframes and the code, it's still got to look good. Do you use Bootstrap or something pre-made, or do you have a designer? Or what do you do?
We use Twitter Bootstrap, so it's touched up a little bit, but it still carries, I'd say, about 50% of like the Balsamic look of the wireframe.
Oh, really?
Yeah, which actually, for what we're trying to achieve, is very plain and simple, and that's what our users want.
Interesting. So you use the wireframing skin or the sketch skin?
Wireframing skin.
You always use that from the beginning?
No, I've used Sketch before several times. It depends on the client. We have one of our clients is Principal Financial Group. They're a Fortune 250 company. They prefer the wireframing skin. Then we have others that like the Sketch skin.
But for this project, your own project, you started with the wireframe skin?
Yes.
Okay. Because you know that it's not real anyways.
Right.
You don't have to worry about that part. I see. Okay. Cool. Okay. So that's very tight process and lean. That's great. So how would you define Balsamic to, specifically, I guess, Balsamic Cloud, since you're one of the few that has really used it? How would you define that to someone who didn't know about it? Maybe another entrepreneur.
Yeah, so I actually referred Balsamic Cloud to 7 companies out of the 12 that went through the accelerator with me in March. I think 2 signed up and are using it. The way I describe it is it's a simplistic and intuitive way to build out wireframes for use cases with your development team, and also for pitching a project if you're actually building custom software for another client. So it, you look at a picture, it speaks 1,000 words. Balsamic Mockups the same way. You
Right.
create that mock-up and you can literally see what needs to be done with zero bottleneck and very limited change controls that'll happen throughout the course of the development cycle. So I don't know if that's long-winded for
No,
you.
that's fine. That's perfect. That's perfect. So in the end, you save money by doing by not skipping this step, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Our when we did the project for principal, I know this is being recorded. We probably saved 100 grand in the project, and our statement of work was 165 pages, and it was like every second to third page was a balsamic mock-up. And literally, it took 9 months to build out that statement of work alongside principal. There was a lot of collaboration both ways. And even at the end of the project, they said that was probably one of the most helpful things they saw because they had something tangible that they
Right.
knew it was going to be.
Right. Excellent. Excellent. Awesome. Awesome. Okay. Let me see. Would you consider yourself a beginner, intermediate, or expert user of balsamic?
Intermediate.
Okay. Let me ask a few questions about some features that you might use or not. So, do you have the UI library showing or hidden?
Showing.
Okay. Do you use it to drag and drop, or do you also use quick add?
Both.
Okay. And then the skin we already talked about, and then linking we already talked about. What about reusable symbols?
I do. So I do reusable importable symbols, is what you're referring to?
Yeah, the things you create, the groups that you then turn into symbols like a header or a footer or something
Oh,
like that.
yes. Yeah. I've done those a few times. On Catapult, I didn't do them,
Yeah.
but I've done them before.
Okay. Yeah, so I'd say you're pretty much an expert. Now that you also
I'll take
do,
it.
yeah, I think there's not that much to the app, thankfully.
No,
Um,
it's very intuitive too, which is very
right, right,
helpful.
right. And what about the new some of the new features? You've used the commenting? I know that.
Yes,
We have a
that's
few
incredibly
requests
helpful.
about that with the call outs and the process. That's just a baby feature. It's going to grow. Don't worry about it. It's just starting now. You've shared projects online, right?
I have.
Yeah, yeah. We're going to build a better full screen experience thanks to your input as well. We'll do the follow
Good.
me mode so that you don't have to go to the Starbucks. You can do it remotely. So yeah, we're gonna make it better for you. Okay. Let's see. Let's see. Something more about you. What communities or websites do you use to stay current? How do you learn about your job?
Um, Atlassian is one key one. I go to a lot of their blogs.
Okay.
I'm a part of the Forbes Technology Council. So
Okay.
Forbes has a lot of industry recognized documentation. Um, my job particularly though, like specifically, honestly, it's a lot of just self-taught. So I read books quite a bit. I see you've got a good book collection behind you.
Yeah.
Um, I only have a few right there. It's just
Yeah.
because we're in transition. We're moving right now. So we moved
Yeah.
into sold our house, moved to an apartment. Now we're going to the next house next week.
Nice.
But I have a good library. So reading, I do a lot of meetups are
Ah,
probably where I learn the most because I'm more of a visual learner based
okay.
on interaction. And then you guys have a really good blog too. So that's been very helpful in a lot of use cases as well, especially the one that just discussed how you're lean and how you're very profitable and the
Hmm.
decisions you made. That's some of those things I've kind of implemented into the Catapult mindset as well for our culture on
Cool.
how I want to stay lean but have scale and how
Right.
I think I can get there doing that.
Right. Right. Awesome. Awesome. Wonderful. So you go to meetups. Do you also go to conferences?
I do. So I go to the Atlassian Summit.
Okay.
I'm an Atlassian user group leader for Charlotte, and I'm a champion for Atlassian. So I do everything Atlassian based. We have something called the Iron Yard. I don't know if you've ever heard
Hmm.
of. So it's kind of like an immersive boot camp for learning how to write code.
Ah.
So they throw a lot of events that are about JavaScript, HTML, but they're all different. It's not always about code. And so I do those, and then I do a lot of industry-wide conferences. So I just spoke in New York City 2 weeks ago at the Cloud Expo
Oh wow.
about how to take fintech to the cloud. So I spoke there, but then I attend a few sessions as well, just to kind of pick up new tips and tricks. It's always great to see how I do things in a lean way and how other companies like IBM do it in a large scale way.
Nice, nice, excellent, excellent. Okay. Let's see. Are there some people that you look up to or follow or learn from? Like Mike and Scott from Atlassian, for instance, for me.
Yeah, definitely Mike and Scott are good. They're a great role model. Ryan Carson with Team
Yeah,
Treehouse.
sure.
You're familiar? Okay, so you're familiar with him. Love him. Love DHH. Jason Fried. I read all their books. I'm not a fan of Basecamp itself. I know this is being recorded. I don't
I'm
use
the
it.
same way. No, it's private. Don't worry.
No, it doesn't bother me anyways. But but the way they write, the way they express, is incredibly helpful.
It's really good.
There was another book, Disrupted, and I'm drawing a blank on his name, but I'm a huge follower of his as well. He's an author. He's kicking off a podcast, but he wrote about HubSpot, and I'm drawing a blank on his name. So those, yes, yeah. So those guys, those are pretty top ones for me. Tim Cook, of course, to a degree.
Yeah, he doesn't really share that much.
No, I'm an Apple fanboy, but I like what he's doing or what he wants to do, but obviously they're still behind. They're catching up now.
Yeah. Okay, all right. Let me see. What can I ask? Here's an interesting question. You've been wireframing for a long time.
Yes.
Do you feel like you've gotten better at it?
Yeah.
What does better mean?
When I started, I think I downloaded Balsamiq mockups for desktop in 2011. So my mockups were very rigid. They didn't have a consistent flow. It was more like, oh, I think you need this page, so let me design that page. And then, oh, maybe you need something that's way over here. And there was no true sync that was happening. You're just making different pages scattered. And now the way I design, I'm more focused on user experience. So I'm doing one action that's repeatable one after the other. So that, like you said, I'm able to do that linking and you can see that step-by-step progression. So I'm now more thoughtful about the experience that's happening and how it's interacting.
How did you get better?
Consistency. It was really it. Consistency, and your Champions blog was very helpful.
Okay. All right. Awesome. Great. So the thing that we're thinking about is, mockups is a tool, but that's just a tool. You have to know how to use it. So we want to try and, share more about how to wireframe well.
Okay.
The principles of user interface design.
Mm-hmm.
What is that something that you'll be interested in learning from us? And if so, how? In what form?
Yes, webinars, big group sessions on obviously like Google videos would be great. Things I would love to learn more about is how people are implementing better use case design. So I see a lot of people will create those. I think I talked about this in the beta channel, and you said that you guys are working on enhancing it. Just those templates that people create and share with others. For me, it's like, how do I get to a point that I'm creating things like that are beneficial for a broader base that we can all kind of contribute to, kind of like a Git where everyone's just able to open source and help out. Right. But yeah, group settings I think would be great, especially if you made them interactive to where the audience can all contribute and hear each other's feedback instead of just doing Q&A at the end. Mm-hmm. I think that'd be really powerful because there's certain things I don't know how to do that I see others doing, and I'm just like, wow. Right. I need to figure that out.
Right, I see. Okay, that's great. Okay.
Yeah, and that's where the Champion blog is helpful, because then I'm able to read backstories on people and what they're doing, and I'm like, oh, I can do that. I didn't know that.
Right. I feel like we can make that better. We can make it more, ask more about their process and show more of their work and how they work. We're gonna revamp that for sure. Okay. Is there anything else that we are not doing for you that you wish we did?
I would love the ability to import vectors,
Okay.
which I think is really difficult. I mean, just from like a code standpoint, I got to imagine that's not easy. And then the others
Wait, tell
doing,
me more. What would you use that for?
well, for me, so we do a lot of things with logos and design. So like when my designer supplies me vector images, I just want to be able to apply them into my mockups rather than saving them as PNGs
Okay.
and putting them in. I think too for scalability and resizing, just that
Sure.
quality stays. So those are pretty much just those basic
Okay.
reasons.
So for images, though. Okay.
Yeah, primarily images.
Okay.
The other thing, yeah, I know you have icon database already established within Balsamic, making them more scalable. Instead of doing small, medium, large, there are times I need things really small beyond extra small, and
Okay.
there are times I need things really massive.
Okay.
So having an unrestricted scalability to any images or resources
Okay.
would be great.
Okay.
That's like a wish. It's not.
Okay.
Not
That's easy. That's small.
Yeah.
What about cloud? Your impression so far? What's missing? What's big and missing?
Honestly, I don't think anything. I mean, you're going to fix the commentary or the comments feature, and you're going to, obviously do the collaboration much better.
Yeah.
I think it's great already, but just for like better full screen.
Yeah.
I mean, those are really my two key items that I've always had. It works everywhere. I'm so glad you use JavaScript because when you push builds, it's so much cleaner. I love getting things more consistently, and you guys have been incredible at that. And for me, just getting the support from your Balsamic team right away on how to use cloud, especially when an error happens. And I know it's still, I don't know if you consider it beta still, or if you consider it live.
It is. I used it today, and I was like, we're not quite there yet. Not quite. Close, but not quite.
I'm ready to pay. So when you tell me to start paying, I swear I'm ready.
Awesome.
But no, I mean, everyone's been incredibly helpful in that the application's been phenomenal, and it's been lightweight. I've even used it on my iPhone. It'd be great if you had like an iPhone version. I can get that that's difficult because response.
It's coming next year. We'll do We're doing a native one that is cloud, but with a native editor.
Okay, perfect. So, and the only reason I say that is there are times I've had to pull down certain things just to show someone on my iPhone.
Yeah,
and it's not that it's. Yeah, it's okay, but I mean, you go in landscape mode, you can kind of see what's going on. It gives them an idea, but I mean, especially for me, because when I'm doing a lot of meetings, it's on the go. So,
sure.
But I mean, aside from that, no, I mean, everything's been pretty much perfect.
Awesome. Well, Justin, if you want, I would love for you to be our first customer.
Yes, I do.
I'm gonna shorten your trial so that you can sign up now, even if you're in trial.
Okay. Good, done.
You can sign up after this meeting.
Okay, perfect.
We'll print the picture of you and put it on the office as the first customer.
Sold.
Nice. Okay, that's fantastic. All right. Well, listen, I think that's all I had. Do you have any questions for me?
Yeah. Are you going to the Atlassian Summit in San Francisco this year?
Not personally, but we're sending a bunch of people.
Okay. I know you guys do, so I'm going to ask you a completely weirded out, off the wall question.
Tell me.
I love the cooking piece.
Okay.
So, and I love Val. She's amazing. Do you guys ever think you'll do videos teaching people how to cook? The reason I ask, I suck at cooking. I am married. I have 2 kids. I would love to be more romantic in making something just like completely off the wall, a meal that I could just quickly run to a store, grab the stuff, and like watch it and do it. Do you think that'll ever come to fruition?
We can ask Val to do that. That could be a special episode just for you, but I'm sure it'll be useful for other people too. Basically, you want a romantic dinner step by step.
Yes.
Okay.
Literally step by step. I butcher Easy Mac, and if you haven't heard of that, it's like hardened noodles you pour water into.
Okay. All right. I'll tell Val. She's going to be thrilled with the challenge.
Okay. As for your company, I mean, I consider you guys lean, and when I say that, I mean you're not 250 employees or more. To me, that's pretty lean. Do you think that you're going to start onboarding more support people, or are you going to kind of continue to stay in that self-service model, use the community?
We have been growing the support team, and we have an opening right now for one more person. We try to stay small, but it's possible that we will grow it more over the next months or year because we want to build a little bit of redundancy so that we have more than one person per time zone.
Okay.
Um, why do you ask for that?
I would love a community, like a community forum for the perspective of being able to communicate with other Balsamiq users, especially power users, to kind of share tips and tricks,
Okay.
templates, ideas. I think that would be great, and that'll hone the skill, particularly
Okay.
like iron sharpening iron. As for support personnel, I personally don't need it, but I know a lot of people. When I showed the 7 companies through the accelerator, I probably spent an hour and a half. Actually, we have 2 60-inch TVs, and this is where I host my Atlassian events as well. And I put my laptop on both screens, and I did like an intro session on how to use Balsamiq.
Okay.
And I just saw like eyes lighting up of them wanting to go to that next step. Like, all right, you gave me a foundation, a little platform,
Right.
but now I want to add more to it. How do I do that?
Right.
Who do I talk to? Because they
Right.
knew they couldn't just constantly bother me. So that's the reason.
So I see. So you'd like for us to have more webinars, more
Yes.
tutorials, more videos. Yes, that part we're definitely investing a bunch on.
Okay, perfect. And I love your webinars that you do. I get to see them on Facebook, and I never truly access Facebook, but when I do, I always see Pelty did another item, so I get to watch them. My favorite thing is I just love watching you. It's like your
Ah.
excitement. It's like, all right, look, we're doing this. Look at how this works. So for me, it's like I get to see, oh, there's a real use case. This guy's realistically using this. He's having fun with it, and
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
fun
yeah.
for me. I
Yeah,
mean, you
yeah, yeah.
made this part of the process enjoyable,
Oh,
and
excellent.
I've been firm on that since 2011, and that's, I mean, I'm just in love with the product, so I can't thank you enough.
Oh, are you kidding? Thank you. You're such a great customer.
No,
You're a friend now. You're more than a customer.
well, if I get to come out, I'll definitely stop by and say hi.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. All right. Well, listen. Thank you so much.
You're
Let's
welcome.
hang up so that you can sign up for cloud.
Will do. I'll do that. Have a good day.
You too. Bye,
All
Justin.
right.
Thank you.
Bye.